Okay, so now I'm going to tell you my story. So I'm on silent retreat, and there's a meadow, and it's a BIPOC retreat, and I'm walking in the meadow. I'm having a field day. I'm going in the forest, right? It's like maybe day 3. It's day 3. And because I'm having a field day, I'm like, I don't need to go to that 8 o'clock meeting that they have every day. I don't know what that's about. I'm not going to that. I've been on retreat before. I'm just doing my retreat. And then the retreat manager says, it would be helpful if you could come to the morning meeting because we talk about things like, the temperature or. I'm like, fine, I'll come to the meeting. So I go on the 3rd day, SEBEX day, whole nother question. Communication. Who's that talking? Who's that talking in your mind? It's a mercurial energy, right? Mercury on Wednesdays. So it's 8 o'clock, also the hour of Mercury on the day of Mercury. And I walk into the retreat hall and I feel the tension in the room. And I'm confused because tension and retreat don't go together, right? First of all, you're silent. How irritating can you be, right? So I'm confused by this thick, heavy energy in the room. And the retreat manager is sitting at the table with her piece of paper. And then she opens her mouth. And I go, oh, got it. It was like when you were in school and you got in trouble from the teacher, but it was like that. Everybody's in trouble. When she turned the lights off, after lunch, she got to talk to y'all, right? This was our talking to. That's what we were getting a talking to. I'm learning, I'm growing. But at that point, I was the wrong one. At that point. Now I'm healed. But at that point, I was the wrong one. And so this surge of protective mothering, you're not about to ruin our retreat. We don't do this on retreat. Slow your roll, sis. Slow your roll, right? So I'm having all this on the inside. Really, it's this sense of I can control this situation, fix it, and make it better for everyone. And that's my job. Okay, that's what came up. You can imagine where that took me, right? Okay, so I'm gonna speed through. So we're having the meeting. She's going through the things. Da, 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 da. Then she says, the ant problem, blah blah blah. We need to keep the surfaces clean. And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, actually, I took a teacup into my room the other day, and I put it on the windowsill, and I noticed it was like 30 seconds. It's like 100 on that cup. So yeah, I agree. She says, blah, 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 blah. So maybe we don't take, you know, teacups or coffee cups in our room. And I say, yeah, that was already a decision. I was just bringing it up to kind of hammer in your point. She says, wah, 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 wah. So maybe we don't take teacups or coffee cups in our room. Bye, sweetheart. My my body, mind, and spirit received. She just repeated an instruction to you twice in public. Yes, she did. And I'm thinking to myself, who she thinks she took? And so now I'm like, now you deserve it. Okay. And I begin to talk about how I clean the windowsill with vinegar to disrupt the ants because they get disrupted with that. And I did all this. And yes, you know what? Yes, I know. I already decided I wasn't going to take the coffee cup or the teacup into my room, right? Because of that. And then she says, yeah, they really don't want you to use vinegar on the windowsills. Eye darts, right? Eye darts. I said, oh, because there's a sign that says clean the kitchen countertops with the vinegar, and they're wood. And she's like, yeah, but no, that's different. It actually says it on your list of cleanup, of how to clean up your room, specifically not to use the vinegar. And I go, you got that one? All right, got that one. I said, okay. I sit back. I go, can't believe this chick is bringing this energy to this retreat. This is not right. It's because it's a BIPOC retreat. They want to do this with no retreat hall full of white people, right? Going through the whole thing. Go back to my room, minding my business, cleaning up. I see that list she refers to, and I glance down the list, and it says, clean windows with vinegar. Right? I'm silently screaming, I knew it. I knew it. Right? The little piece of paper is like the tacky stuff is tacked to the desk. Now I'm trying to pull it up. I got the evidence now. Right? And as I'm pulling up this tacky sheet, my present self, who now can be mindful, can actually also accompany me in the darkness, right? Is like, Alexis, you know, whenever you push these things like this, it doesn't go well. Who cares? Yes, from me. Who cares? Just leave the doggone thing alone. No, she gave me instructions in public twice, and they were wrong. So pick it up, take it, go to find the girl. I'm looking for the girl with my laminated piece of paper through this hall. I find this girl in the loft trying to recoup from the interaction we just had. Find the hall, and I say, aha! It says, clean the window with vinegar. I know I wasn't crazy. I give it a paper. I walk away because you've been served. Right? Walk away. Go to make my tea. I'm feeling really good about myself, y'all. Okay. I'm the champion of retreat. I saved everybody from not understanding how to clean the window. And that was incredibly important for everyone to know in that moment, according to me. Thank God I'm here. I'm the best. You know what? I do be fighting for the little guy. What would they do without me? Yeah, make my tea. Right? Here she come. It says the window, the pane, not the windowsill. If you keep reading down the list, it describes not to use the vinegar. And I go, oh. When I went to make that tea, my attention span was this big. My body was probably 102 degrees. And my presence was egoic, prideful, didn't care if I was harmful, angry, feeling indignant, right? And all of that was why I took that piece of paper, because my body is conditioned to get that reward. Because in the moment, I knew it wasn't skillful for me to pick up the piece of paper and go find the retreat manager. I was perfectly capable of stopping myself. That's why I'm sharing this. This was not a moment when I was hijacked by emotions. This was a moment where I was overwhelmed with big emotions, but present still, and still decided to do the wrong thing. So be graceful with yourself, right? It's a process. And then I could feel the tears behind my eyes. And so now I'm crying over some damn vinegar, okay? And I'm like, oh my God, this is what I do. This is what I do. I create my own issues. I didn't have to say nothing. The first time, the second time, or the third time. Didn't have to. And in so doing, I created this stress and tension I'm now carrying around. And then the shame of not being right? I'm carrying all of that around. And I said to myself, this poor little retreat manager, She just unknowing bystander. Just, okay, ring a bell. She had to get it. Somebody had to get it. It was her, right? For that energy to come up. But because I could, in that moment, recognize all of what had just happened, the cause, the current conditions, how it was changing in the middle, and it's beginning to cease. The arise, the change, the cease. That's everything. Everything in life. The arise, the change, the cease. I noticed that in the moment and felt my harm and wanted to correct it. And so I went to find the retreat manager again, and I gave her a silent hug, a long one. So she knew I meant it. Will you rub the center of their back, you know? Because I needed her to know, girl, that wasn't you. That was my stuff coming up on retreat. And I went out into the woods where no one else could feel my wrath. And I did a walking meditation for about an hour. And all of this solidified that I'm sharing with you. It didn't, all of the understanding didn't all come in the moment. I was aware of what I was doing, but I wasn't aware of the pattern, the habitual pattern, and how harmful it has been in my life. Like, so my relationship with my kids would be so much better if I just didn't say the thing. Or if I would have thought about the harm bigger than I thought about my desire to be right or prideful. No, I got to tell them this thing because they need to know this thing because I'm the only person in the world that could tell them this thing at this time in their life, and they must know it. And so what would my life look like if I didn't move in that habitual pattern? And I began to think about that, and I began to cry. And then I felt the release, and I felt the sukha come. Because it was like, oh God, I'm doing it. It's like, I thought you was doing it, guy. I was mad at you. I was like, what you doing? Mm-mm. So the truth of life is that one will never receive happiness from circumstances or conditions. I was on retreat. That's supposed to be the happiest place on earth. Literally, that's, first of all, I just want to let you know that is a bold-faced lie. But that's what people think. That's what people think. Sorry, Rumbi. That's what people think. Okay? And even there, my chaos, my ignorance, my wanting to fix a moment for an entire retreat group as if it was my duty, it all came and it all made it ill-fitting again. Everything was ill-fitting again. And I could see the distinct difference between when I was happily skipping through the meadow, going to the meeting, to not even an hour later, where my body was not my friend. Not my friend. So, happiness cannot be received from the outside. It's an internal experience, just as internal as that rage. That rage that I felt in that moment at what that retreat manager was doing to the quote unquote our retreat, the other side of it was my love for my practice, my love for practicing in Sangha and wanting to protect the sanctity of a Sangha. It was the other side. It was the underbelly of my care. And so how often, how much, get the words. How can I more often recognize that before the harm and go to the underbelly? Because that's really where I can move things forward in a way that's in harmony and in balance. Because I know the dukkha. So I can want to move towards allow the sukha also to lead me. It's an internal experience that's developed on the inside. You can't pick it up and put happiness on like a sweater, although many people try. What are those things called? BBOs, the body, the get it tightness. Everybody gets it, the whole thing tight. Body makeovers. We try. Like happiness like a sweater. But then that sweater ages. And then we're back in dukkha again. Our perception of what is happening opens or closes the door to our understanding. That's also Sebek, Mercury. The opener of the way are our ideas, thoughts, and beliefs. That's what the rich people be talking about when manifesting. They believe, they manifest, and so they do. So how can your thoughts help open the way for you? How can you look at what you're believing about what's happening? What is this perception that I have in this moment that is creating these conditions? Because yes, you can't take responsibility for 100% of every conflict, but there's some of it over there on your side. That's the only way it happens. So can you acknowledge what is yours and remove that harm? Because if you can remove that one condition from the scenario, what happens to the scenario? Poof. Everything arises, changes, and ceases. That change in the middle can be us. We can be part of it. And cause the cease. And so we can control our own happiness in that way. We can recognize that we are hurting ourselves and others in the moment through mindfulness. We can allow our higher, more rational self, maybe through breath work, maybe through time, maybe through meditation, to come to us, to arise. It's there. And allow it to guide us. And that takes so much courage, because the energy for harm is the energy of protecting yourself. You're only trying to protect yourself, your mind is saying. And so it's fierce. It will tell you all kinds of things. And so we really have to pay close attention to who that talking. Is that me? Is that God? Is that the angels? Like, who is that talking to me? And if it's my ego, if it's my lower self, if it's my my pettiness, I don't want to listen to my pettiness. You know, I want to be led by some kind of sage like something, you know, sage like something. I know it's in here. So the pain is inherent in the joy, y'all. So you got to know it and understand it, so we can know the conditions of it, so we can start to cease it ourselves. Cessation. For us, by us. Yeah.